back again with another episode, a special episode of Miscellaneous and Brown, because I got my homie from out of town. I mean, I can't even tell you where he's from because this motherfucker goes all everywhere. He's traveling like Lando Calrissian in this universe. But you may have seen him on Laugh After Dark. He was the host when they had their residency in Vegas. He was also their host for the Comedy Fest, which I was a part of, and where we got to be close and got to be friends. And now I'm having here right here in the house, in the studio, in the 1-2 studios. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Charlie Wilson.
Hey, what's up, my dude?
What's up, brother?
Hey, man, all love. Thanks for having me, bro.
You got me feeling like Club Shake.
It feels like Club Shake. You got me feeling like Club Shake. It feels like it. Got me loose already. Got me a little drink.
Well, because I'm the host of the Canonical podcast as well, and we partook of the homegrown, but we also we got a little whiskey.
Shout out to the homegrown.
But we got a little whiskey too to kind of just enjoy, and because we don't see each other very often. Last time we saw each other, you were at my headliner.
Yeah. Comedy Plex.
Because you're living in Chicago, right?
Yeah. As of about a year ago.
Yeah, and it was a trip for me because you've been a part of my comedy journey in as far as like I auditioned for Laugh After Dark. Yeah. And then I finally got to perform at Laugh After Dark when you hosted at the residency in Vegas. Yeah. And then I got to perform, and then I got to be at the Comedy Fest with you. Yeah. And each time you've always given me some type of wisdom. You've given me some type of you've given me words of wisdom to live by as a stand-up comedian. Yeah. And I just want to I thank you for that.
Yeah, man. You always do, man. You always do.
But at the same time, like, we share so much in as far as our comedic journey, and your voice. I follow you online. I follow you on Instagram. I see the posts. You're always about positivity. You're always about pushing forward. You're always about and that's what I'm all about. Yeah. And since you were able to come here to LA and stop through and I was able to be able to hang out, man. It's been wonderful to get to
hell yeah, bro, too, man. To be able to kick it in this element where we just kind of posted up. I remember kicking it with the dogs and just kind of lay it back out of the comedy club, off the that's when you really get to see who somebody is. What is their character really like? How what kind of person are they? You don't always get to get those moments right after a set or before a set, because everybody's mind is somewhere different. Especially in LA, everybody's mind on what can I get while I'm here? Who can I book a show with? It's with intention, which it should be, but when you're still trying to meet friends out here, you're still trying to get to know people out here, and you recognize the benefits of valuable relationships long term. You gotta think with a little bit and move with a little bit more depth and a little bit more intention. So
because I'm turning 50 this year.
Hey, what? Sounds like a lot of me, bro. I don't know.
But for real, like, there's and I'm not trying to like street cred or anything like that. But, I had friends in high school who they were on the last page of the yearbook because it was in memoriam because they didn't make it.
Yeah.
So the fact that I'm 50, I'm like,
gotta celebrate that, bro.
You celebrate it. Right. I came up in Chicago in the 90s. It was rowdy, right? And it's kind of shaped who I am today, and it kind of shaped how I raised my kids. And we've been talking about this a lot since we're hanging out, since you're hanging out with me and staying at my house. Yeah. And it's just a trip because I really wanted to talk to you about how you juggle all of it. Yeah. Because you're here. What are you in town doing right now?
So it's crazy, bro. Like, I started just doing stand-up comedy. And I did a little bit of writing with the Wendy Williams show when I was in New York when I first started. And from there, just producing and hosting comedy shows. I kind of tapped into hosting like live music showcases in New York. If there was going to be some poetry or some rap or whatever, I needed a host. But anyway, it wasn't until I decided to fully kind of commit and submerge myself into like entertainment and be open-minded as to how I could use my talents and skills that I started kind of gravitating to some kind of different projects I didn't see coming. One of them you shouted out, which is the Star Wars burlesque show, parody show. It sounds crazy to say out loud. Somebody would be like, why are you in town? I'd be like, all right, So there's this Star Wars burlesque show that kind of took. They're like, what? Everybody's like, what the
I was
fuck?
immediately intrigued.
So that's a lot of fun, man. I work with a cool team, and the girls are just great. It's the Stormtroopers and Princess Leia, like you ain't never seen her before. And a lot of them are professional dancers from music videos or sports team dance teams. So they're always cool and just sweet sweeties. But I also recently, as of about a few months ago, started hosting this live game show.
That's what you're in town to do?
That's what I'm in town to do now. It's called Bingo Loco. So it's like bingo, but it's wild. It's like a rave party. There's confetti guns. A lot of the shows I'll have hype girls that'll dance with me. I'm on stage, but we're still playing bingo.
We just came back from Walmart because you had to buy an inflatable.
Yeah, I sound like I'm on the road with the circus, bro. It sounds I'm blowing shit up, and I gotta have confetti, and it's a show.
And again,
for sure.
I ask, how do you juggle all this and have a stand-up comedy career? Because I see you doing stuff in
Chicago too. Yeah,
the riddles, and you've done. You were.
Yeah.
Like I said, it's a trip that you're. How do you juggle all of that?
Man, you know what? Like, as you're still developing your name and your reputation and your career in stand-up comedy, I'm not in a position where I'm booked 5 days a week, 6 days a week. Comedy clubs are like, hey, Charlie, it ain't like that. So while I'm doing the shows that I can get my hands on, I'm fortunate enough to have these other roles that allow me to tour and to travel with them. And, it gives me good balance because between those couple of shows, as well as doing comedy, now I have a little bit more of a full schedule. I got some other things. Everything is kind of keeping me busy.
Sure.
And in the world of trying to, maintain financially, which is tough, in our creative spaces too, you got to have a few hustles. You got to have a few jobs. If you're just doing stand-up comedy alone, not only are you struggling, or probably going to struggle for a while.
Unless you're one of them headliners that are, that you're doing well for yourself. Good for you.
Yeah.
But not everybody.
No, for sure.
Not everybody's a headliner.
I'm not talking to anybody that's headlining, 3 days at the
listening to this
Improv.
podcast.
Yeah, they ain't
Let's be
here.
real.
They ain't here.
And if they are, y'all might need to send me some money.
Exactly. If you are listening right now, you need to be booking us. We need you some openers in this
You know what
motherfucker.
I'm
You know what I'm saying? But so you got to be creative in other ways you're going to make your money. Now, what I did for a long time, and what a lot of people are doing, is they'll go work a day job, they'll go work at Target, and then they'll go do comedy at night, or they'll go, do whatever, and then go do comedy at night. But as of the pandemic, I started to take on more roles that were in alignment with my natural personality and things that come to me naturally, things that I wouldn't mind doing anyway. Mm-hmm. So I started applying for those type of roles and being open to those kind of roles. And it started with me emceeing dance competitions. So, everybody goes and see the kids that do tap and jazz and hip hop. All right, let's hear it for Act 255, make it rain or whatever it is. And then they come out and do the routine. So I was emceeing that shit. Dude. So I had to play the music and I would call the host. But now I'm just being a personality. I'm just calling out numbers.
And did the check clear?
And the check cleared every fucking time. You know what I'm saying?
That's it. Yeah, that's really what it. And it's not just about the money.
Yeah.
But it's being able, like you said, to be able to navigate your skills and in a way to do the jobs that they're all leading to the same
facts
thing.
Right, and it's all conducive to what your overall goal is. I was in the car business for like 20 years, Lexus, Range Rovers, Maserati. I was a broker for a lot of the credit unions here in Los Angeles, so I did the car buying for a lot of people in the city. LAPD, the fire department here, teachers, credit union, all of those people within those credit unions, a lot of them don't prefer to go to car dealerships. So I worked for a company out here where I would sit in a credit union and also support other credit unions in LA. So when they got ready to buy the car, they would just reach out to me. Oh, you're looking for a Camry? Okay, cool, no worries. What's your budget? What do you have in mind? Perfect. And then I would negotiate the deal through the dealership. I would have the contracts printed via the dealership, have them brought to my credit union, and then that person would come over to me and I would go through their whole automotive purchase, full cycle. So a lot of years in the car business, but even though I was good at that, it still wasn't something that was in alignment with what I overall wanted to do. Mm-hmm. I had skills that would help me get a check, but it was still time spent. That didn't help me make a new fan or nothing. You know what I mean? Just new context. So, I made a big decision to start doing projects like that. And I'm glad that I did because now, that led to me, that experience alone was me still working with kids. So I used that experience to then apply for a position in Chicago. So now I'm working as a STEM instructor as well.
That's awesome.
So I work part-time doing after-school programs in Chicago.
Bro, those
been
those
cool.
after school and even in school programs were my bread and butter when I was in Chicago. Because as a theater artist, there's so much grant money involved in allowing for artists, and because arts has been taken out of schools in a lot of ways.
Right.
So that when, like, I know for me, when I was in Chicago, that was literally my bread and butter, because I was able to teach 4 or 5 hours a day and make a good amount of money. And then if I didn't have a booking, or I didn't have a job, or I didn't have I had that every week.
Oh, yeah.
Until the school was done. And I gotta say, man, like, you deviating the hustle, but at the same time, I was teaching acting. I was teaching art.
It's still in alignment. Exactly. It's still in alignment. Now that gave you teaching experience.
Exactly.
And I actually just attended a workshop in Chicago at Second City, because they're looking for teachers that can teach like these acting camps and improv camps and stuff like that in the summer. So, that's a position that I may still look into, because they're going to have roles that come open in the fall. So just good opportunities to all stay within alignment. So I then used that experience working with kids as a STEM instructor on my resume, and then I started conducting tours. So now I'm leading tours as a guide for kids now. So still using my personality. It's already stuff I like doing. I like visiting museums. I like going to baseball games and all these things that they would have for these kids on these field trips. But now I'm just implementing all of the itinerary and, working with kids, which is something I wanted to do. So anyway, like I'm really happy to be in a place where I kind of have a little bit of balance between doing things that fulfill me, that come to me naturally, new adventures. And it took me a while to become comfortable there, because to a lot of my friends and peers that are out here in LA, what I'm doing don't look like anything that they're doing. You know what I mean?
I don't know, man.
Netflix as a joke festival, I'm not booked. I'm not there. I'm not at any events. I'm not at any other parties. You know what I mean? So I had a little bit of FOMO. I'll be real. You know what I'm saying?
For real, the only reason I had a Netflix as a joke festival show is because the guy who was supposed to host the show got sick.
But you're in LA, so you're here to be called on for those type of opportunities. You know what I'm saying?
This is true. And I cannot argue against the opportunities that are here in Los Angeles. And
being here is half the battle, for sure. Yes. For sure.
But at the same time, having been, I don't want to say a big fish, but having been a bigger fish in Chicago when I was there, and then being able to then go home and still kind of be a medium fish.
Your name still carries weight there.
Correct.
Yeah, without you being physically there. Right.
Like that it means the world to me. And even as, like, for me as a comic, those are how I measure progress. Like, for me, I'm like, now I'm in 2 cities. Because in Los Angeles, I'm not a draw. But in Chicago, I kind of am. And maybe in Virginia, I kind of am. San Diego, I kind of am.
But that's how it works. That's why you come to LA and get your experience, build your resume. Then you go on the road and make your money. Where you go is up to you, your demographic, and what you want to do. Right.
But you're right, exactly, because LA does serve as a good base of operations when you want to do a lot of different things that are all still in alignment to being in entertainment.
100%.
Man, it's okay. So, I mean, we've kind of given our philosophy on stand-up comedy.
Right, definitely. It got deep real quick.
No, but like, I'm so happy to be able to talk with people who can empathize with my situation, because so many times on this podcast it's different. Like, I have politicians on the podcast, or I have like, well, for the most part, for the past guests, either politicians or people who are in business and not-for-profit stuff that that are
just unrelated to what you do, not something
And so to be able to have somebody to relate to, and even in the case of my new co-host Chris Mateo, who's wanting to be a writer and learning to be a writer and being a comedy writer, like, is because I'm still. It's nice to be able to talk to somebody where it's like we in the same space.
You get it, yeah.
And I love that I'm doing this because I get to talk with people that I respect and admire, but then I get their perspective on current events, culture, and So now I want to flip the conversation a little bit and go back to what we was talking about this whole time we've been hanging out.
Yeah.
But like, what was your reaction to this shift in culture that was this Kendrick and Drake beef? You know what I'm saying? Like, because you felt it. I felt it. You know, like this weird, like almost a call for authenticity through the culture. That's what I felt.
Yeah.
You know, and like it's not just me. It's what the culture feeling. You know, that line for me really hit hard. What were your reactions to that?
I was surprised at first when I first saw what was going on. I was like, "Is this they just doing some cute shit?" It's like, all right, but like I was telling you yesterday, like I just got like all 2 or 3 back to back. I'm a little older, so I wasn't in the loop at first. You know what I mean? And then as soon as I heard about it, there was 3 songs. I kind of heard them on back. I was, oh, what? Oh, hold up, be quiet. I'm listening. Let me hear this. What did he say? Oh, Lord. Oh, they serious? Oh, they serious?
Oh, they serious.
He didn't say that. Oh, I sound like a black auntie when I was listening to her, bro. I was like, yo, this is real. But the beats was hard. I was in the gym, I think, when I first heard it. So I was in the gym just going hard. I'm lifting heavy weight. I was like, yo, Kendrick going
great
crazy.
To have good music from both of them.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
And it transcended beyond just whatever they had going on individually, but they were talking about big picture stuff that everybody was kind of acknowledging or seeing and peeping just in how you move or what you're doing and all this kind of stuff. And in a time now where everybody's getting exposed, it was just, it was one of them things to just be like, wow.
Said it. I mean, we kind of emulating Club Shay Shay right
now.
Yeah. In January 2024, all lies will be exposed.
Yeah.
He said it on Club
He
Shay
did
Shay.
say
Got 60
that.
million views.
He did say that.
It's a trip. It was almost like Cat's prophecy.
Yeah. But I mean, is that by any surprise that everything is being exposed, everybody's being exposed? In the world that we live in now, everything is exposed. So you got to assume now whatever you're doing is exposed or to be exposed. That's another reason why we were just saying before, like, hey, let's just embrace our personal and individual processes, because we're in no rush to just jump into this fame, because then that's when you got to be ready for that. Because as you can see, it can get steamy. It gets hot real quick. So you got to be ready for all of that too.
I told you about that Meek Diddy.
Yeah, I wish you didn't tell me about the audio. I didn't know that was a thing.
I'm just saying it because Godfried, I'm telling you right here on my podcast, Godfried, I love you. You're a Chi-Town comic, but you surprised me with that shit, and I will never forgive you for that.
Wow.
Shit. You put that in my ears, and I will never get out of my ears. I'm not, but there's a lot of stuff coming out, and it is a trip.
It's scary because that shows you that there ain't even enough money to protect you from whatever it is that you are doing or have done.
I mean, if you're gonna be deviant, eventually that shit's gonna come out.
It's gonna come back to get you. Yeah.
It's better to stay on the straight and narrow.
It's better to stay on the straight. Yeah, stay out the way and stay out the way. I mean, that's why I'm at your crib. You know what I'm saying? Cheers. That's why I'm at your crib, chilling, out the way. And not at some random's crib, but falling all over. And I'm grateful for that, because sometimes in comedy, it can be a lonely road. It can be dark at times. So sometimes those things that we crave, or sometimes the things that we want to or think about or toy with or consider, become more and more enticing. But to have the proper judgment and to try to make those decisions that avoid those types of, pitfalls, you got to be grateful for that, and then use that gratitude to stay centered, to continue to avoid those spaces and know that you're, making the right choices. Everybody's kind of still, at mercy to fall and slip up and all of that, but you got to, it's a full-time job trying to stay out of the way and, make the right choices, especially when life is lifing.
It's a trip. You always have good timing, because my daughters and my wife are walking. They're leaving the house,
right.
And it's like it's like they come as a vision.
They do.
But at the same, but it's easy. It's easier for me.
Yeah.
Like I almost want to share that quote. I saved it on my phone, but Nipsey basically said,
"Yeah,
I don't care what's going on around me. This Hollywood bullshit, all this stuff. As long as I got ground zero, and I'm doing stuff that they're gonna respect, and they will admire me for, I'm good. And it's a trip, because they're my ground zero. I don't.
Yeah, I think I had a session yesterday. There's this comedian. Anyway, his wife, she's cool people, and she's actually in Dallas now. Chanel Boss, shout out to her. We had a quick little coaching session, and there was this epiphany that I had between her conversation and another conversation I had with the director of the tour company that I work for now. But both of them came to two specific places. Number one, when I first had a call with the tour director, Avi, he said, "Hey, bro, just, he's one of these, LA dudes, kind of yogi kind of guys, beanie, hey, bro." And I was just like, "Oh, what's happening?" He was like, "Hey, before we start on the call talking business, because I'm going to Canada soon." I was telling him I'm going to Montreal.
Right.
Before we get into business, bro, just take a moment and just breathe and just acknowledge the fact that you're here right now. And you're exactly where you're supposed to be." And that caught me off guard. I was like, what? I was like, hold up, man. I started it kind of took my breath away. I was like, wow. I was like, okay. Because usually I worked in corporate, I worked in, all these other jobs. Nobody ever just says, hey, just take a moment. Just acknowledge the fact that you're here and you've showed up. And just breathe. So we did like 3 or 4 breaths. Matter of fact, everybody, let's just take one good breath right now. Let's do that.
Let's do that.
One good breath. Deep inhale in. And then blow that right out. One more big deep inhale. And blow that right out. But if you notice, if you're just taking that moment, it allows you to settle a little bit more into exactly where you are and what you're doing. But we did this for a minute, and it caught me off guard. He was like, "Charlie, you know what I'm saying? I know you got stuff going on, but you have arrived, bro. You're exactly where you're supposed to be, right on time." And that just hit me. I was like, wow. Got a little emotional. I was like, that's crazy. Yeah. So then it led into more breath work. And then beyond that, the call that I had yesterday, it was the same kind of call, but she was just like, "Charlie, how do you feel? What are your goals?" And I was like, honestly, I'm kind of doing it. I'm kind of doing a lot of the things. And then she was like, "Charlie, did you hear that?" And I was like, "What are you talking about? What's up?" She was like, "Did you hear that? Say it again." I was like, I'm doing it. She's like, "Yeah, that's right. You're doing it, Charlie. Yeah. You're doing it." So between I have arrived and you're doing it, it's recognizing the position that you're in right now. Regardless to what your bank account looks like, regardless to what some people transfer onto you.
By your name.
Yeah.
It's a number by your name.
But it's easy to get lost in what's happening around you or what things look like around you. But if you stay in the mindset of, hey, you're here, you've arrived, you're where you're supposed to be, and you believe those things, and you are doing what you're supposed to be doing, then it's a lot easier to have grace, and it's a lot easier to, move a little bit more carefully from there, and in confidence from there.
And also, we all have touch screens on our phones, so you can just hit ignore on those collector calls.
Yeah. What do they want? Easily. Money? Get out of here.
Excuse me. Can't get blood from a stone, bitch.
Decline. Voicemail.
Ignore.
Won't check it. Delete. Just being real. No, but I had to kind of get to that point too, because bill collectors, they want their money, they applying this pressure, all the stuff just happens around you. But when you make peace at the fact that, like, I am doing the very best that I can do right now, and I've got to be at peace with that. They may not be, because it's their job not to be.
They're mad.
They their
job to get your little.
Of course, take my little $70, whatever it is they try. You know what I mean?
Listen, you're gonna get it. You get it when you get it.
You get it when you get it. Do what you got to do in the meantime. Well, I just want you to be aware. I'm aware.
I always think, because there's a movie that I always go back to. Bruce Lee. The Bruce Lee story, Dragon, by with Jason Scott Lee, and there's a moment where, because I always have this moment in my house, where he's sitting at the desk and he got all these bills and shit, looking at all the bills, and then he gets the call for Enter the Dragon, and that
Bruce Lee,
and that is L.A. That's Hollywood,
going through all that shit, and then one day, everything just changed.
One call could change your whole shit, and all them bills will get washed away.
Be gone.
In a big ass
and you spent
check.
all this time worrying and stressing and taking away from the day, taking away from the people around you.
Waking
because
up and being like, "Oh man, how the fuck am I gonna do this?"
Right.
No.
Right.
Don't worry about that shit. Just keep doing what you're doing.
Right.
And the money,
right,
like I said, it's a number by
it's
your
gonna
name.
get there when it gets there.
And then and when you get it, guess what? You're probably gonna spend more.
Right.
Than
Right.
You
you ain't gonna know how to act.
I've gotten there before. I've had those ebbs and flows where I've gotten big ass checks.
Right now you eating out. Now you, hey, I got it.
Let's go.
Let's roll.
Ooh, let's get a new mattress.
Right. Yeah, you know I think we need, but you know what?
Ooh, you know what? I don't need an eighth. Let me get a pound.
Right.
Stupid shit.
Doing extra shit. Right.
But that's always the case.
Right.
You know, you make more money, you spend more money.
Right. More money, more problems. We can't acknowledge who
we
said that.
Biggie. We're not quoting no Diddy in this motherfucker.
Right.
We're quoting Biggie.
Right. It's the
more
Biggie
money,
part.
More problems.
Getting Biggie with it. You know what I'm saying?
By the way, rest in peace to Biggie. I'd also, again, shout out to all the shit that's coming out. I hope that they figure out what happened to him because I know. I've always suspected that motherfucker.
Right.
Because that
with
Missing
the
You song came out too soon.
Yeah, he was ready. He had already made. He already made
it. Cut already. And he had that sunset shot with that dance and shit. And he was dancing way too happily about his best friend being dead.
He was on the shoulder. You can't do the shoulder
what I mean? He was
shit.
all in his shoulder. Exactly.
Right. Now, one tear.
That video, though that song was catchy as fuck. That
was a good song. That was a good song.
It had me already. I was already suspecting.
But to this day, if that song comes on while you thinking about somebody that passed away, you crying. You cry. Immediate tears in the car.
Exactly.
Right.
I mean, it's still. I mean, even you still think of Biggie.
Yeah.
Because Biggie for me when I was coming up, that was. I was there. I was a young kid during that whole West Coast East Coast.
Yeah. Who were your hip hop? Who you a fan of? Young Filipino kid. You in Chicago. Who were you bumping and jamming? Or were you doing your own thing, or were you just kind of?
My favorite was, I had the Diggable Planets on repeat in college.
Who?
Diggable Planets. Cool like that. It's cool like that.
Oh yeah.
Their whole album, Refutation of Reaching, Refutation of Time and Space, and it was all just on the almost poetic tip with the jazz and all that. That was my whole college vibe. But like Mos Def,
Tribe Called Quest,
Black Thought from the Roots, and then like my favorite modern MC and the winner of the Beef. Kendrick Lamar. I mean, straight up from Good Kid, Mad City.
Oh yeah.
To Pimp a Butterfly. Damn.
Right.
And now like I'm rediscovering and listening to Mr. Morale. I'm almost on a daily tip listening to Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers. Mm-hmm. And as a man turning 50, I mean it's almost like it's Kendrick's like therapy album almost that they call it. And for me, it's a therapy album for me. I listen to it and it's therapeutic for me to listen to this shit.
Yeah, man.
It's a different type of hip hop. It's a mature hip hop.
All classics too,
and beautiful music.
Yeah,
and then I gotta say, like I've never listened to a hip hop song like Mother I Sober. And I'm listening in my backyard to this song, and I'm like connecting so much and empathizing so much with this song about generational trauma. And by the end of the song, I got tears in my eyes. I mean, that's how powerful music is. You know? Yeah.
But we were talking about that earlier too. Like same thing on stage. Your level of vulnerability and how you get there. You know what I'm saying? Because anybody can go on stage and be vulnerable. So I'm gay, so I can. But it's like how you get there. How are you stretching? So yeah, my mom died. Some people even do dark humor, and sometimes it's not funny. That you could tell that something bad happened or something tragic happened. It's kind of like, all right, that sucks.
But that's their coping mechanism too. That's where they're trying to find the humor in it. And that's the beauty of comedy.
Not always that. That
sometimes you don't always get to the brilliant jokes, but at least you're
talking about it.
And running through your journey, which is great. Mm-hmm. Yeah, man. But I really, man, I gotta say, it's just we could talk for hours.
No, for sure. For sure. Easy. We are. Like, I'm here right now, bro. This is my evening plans.
But at the same time, we haven't stopped talking. We could have just hit record when
earlier with the coffee this morning. Yeah. Which you had some good coffee here, by the way, bro. I don't know. Those are grounds. That wasn't no K-Pod, was it? That was grounds.
Yeah, those grounds.
Those grounds. Yeah, I could tell. Yeah, it was good quality coffee.
I even compost my grounds.
Yeah.
Charlie got a tour of the whole garden with all the strawberry patch and peppers and all that.
Yeah. Motherfucker got a garden out here, y'all. Motherfucker garden. He had some overalls. He was barefoot and shit. I was like, yo, man, what the fuck is going on out here?
Let me ask you, are you cool to talk politics? Let's give your prognostications.
I don't follow politics, I don't really engage in politics. I think there were times that I did, and I got a little invested, I got a little involved, but then, I noticed that it just made a little bit of an impact with my psyche throughout the day, interacting with people, and then getting into those conversations with people. Because if somebody feels a little different, then, it just kind of just the same reason a lot of people don't.
Well, you know what? I would say, because this is a political, but
Sure.
pop culture
I'm out here.
podcast more. And I would say if you keep yourself sane,
Yeah.
rewind this podcast and listen to exactly what Charlie said.
Yeah. To try that.
Because the less static you can have online, the better.
Yeah.
Being real.
Yeah.
For real.
Yeah.
Let me ask you one more question.
Mm-hmm.
Where do you see yourself in 5 years?
Over here, nigga. I don't know. Over here, what you mean? I don't know. Outside with a little. Nah, I'm just playing. Honestly, I see myself with a full schedule. Similar to what I have now. I see myself kind of still in a space like I told you a few minutes ago, bro. I've got a little bit of freedom. I've got a little bit of flexibility. I'm moving like water. I see myself flowing in 5 years. Some people might think, oh yeah, I see myself on Netflix. I think I see myself flowing. I think I see myself doing what I love in a higher capacity than I'm doing it on now. So just on a different scale. But I see myself with more TV, film, commercial opportunities. That's the big change that I'm gunning for. So I have those, those later those checks that come later, those residuals, exactly. So that's the big goal that I want to start doing the work on now. You know what I mean? But yeah, I see myself booked and busy. And moving gracefully, and that's kind of a broad answer, but I feel
that's a good answer.
But I feel like I don't want to narrow myself down either.
You the last two words you said, man, move gracefully.
Exactly.
That's real right there, because if I can be consistent and move gracefully,
right.
What else can we ask for in life? So
it's the pace, man. That pace that you set for yourself and for your life is very important, because the pace that you set, you end up having to maintain that shit. And that's why after so many years in the car business, so many years, running around and between New York, because I moved to New York and LA, like within 10, 11 years, I was half the time in New York, half the time in LA, and then another 2 years to Vegas. So things are moving quickly and swiftly. And when things finally start to go, and your pace changes a little bit, then you start to readjust and relax your shoulders, and then decide on how you want to move and where you want to move and who you want to move around with, what type of energy feels the best, to you, and where does that energy feel the best to you? Okay. And you kind of have an opportunity to kind of choose your poison. A lot of people will be stressed out and depressed because of their job and because of their relationship, but it's like, who has the power to change those things? You do. So you got to remind yourself of the power that you have too. So it's not easy. Nothing is. You struggling right now. Keep struggling, but just do some other shit and struggle there. You might be a little happier.
I always kind of quote Tom Hanks. He was in an actor's circle on a round table. And
I don't know this quote. What did Tom Hanks say?
This too shall pass.
Tom Hanks said that shit?
He shared that shit, and he talks about, your life is shitty. This too shall pass.
Right.
Oh, your life's going great.
Right.
This
can't get comfortable
pass.
anywhere. I think I have heard that. Yeah.
And he just goes through this quote, and it keeps repeating, "This too shall pass."
Right.
And you talk about my mentor, my hero, my guy that I got 2 toy shelves dedicated to back there, Bruce Lee. Mm-hmm. Be like water.
Yeah.
And flow.
Yeah.
That's what this whole podcast is about. Whatever your political beliefs, whatever your religious beliefs, whatever you kind of get down with. Yeah. This is more just about a podcast where we talk about bettering yourselves and being a better person, being a more involved person within your community and part of the, just being.
That ain't what we was talking about earlier. We was talking about fucking hoes and doing crack.
Well, but that's the other podcast.
I'm just playing.
No, but and I appreciate all the insight you've given on this podcast.
Yeah.
But all the insight that you've given after every set that I've done.
See,
and
everybody
shows that
don't get
we've
that.
shared.
Everybody don't get that. You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
But if there's anything that if a young comedian listening to this, because that's primarily my audience, and as far as like some of the folks in Chicago and New York and people that listen to me across the country, they're younger comedians trying to get on and trying to learn. If there's anything, rewind this podcast and re-listen to the life philosophies of two comedians who are just trying to get better every day, just trying to enjoy life and make everybody smile, but at the same time, every time we try to move, every time we try to align ourselves with the same goal that we've always tried to align ourselves with. And I think the message of this podcast at the end of the day is just get up, dust yourself off, and be better.
Yeah.
And it's not about be better, but and I think the whiskey's hitting me now because
it hit you. I saw it clock in. I was like, oh shit, there it is.
I'm starting to like because I don't normally drink.
Yeah, got your ass. He drinking with me now. It's not peer pressure either, people. This was his idea. This was his idea. So we got baked in and got a little.
You know what, man? I really do. I'm really so happy to have talked to you. I'm really happy that when you texted me, you felt good enough in our friendship that you could text me and ask me, man, can I crash at your place?
Yeah.
Because even just this little recording that we have, it'll be like a little snippet reminder for me,
right?
This cool last weekend that I had with my homie. That
right,
like I said, you want to maintain and sustain and cultivate the friendships that you have in the game,
right?
And I'm just happy that we could sit down and talk and chat, and you could be on my podcast,
100%,
but
bro.
At the end of the day, we got to tell them. All the folks, if you've been listening for this long, y'all need to tell them where they can follow you.
Oh yeah,
because you have your own podcast as well. Tell them about that, and we can wrap it up.
For sure. So back up to piggyback on what you were saying in terms of young comics that are listening and advice to them. Not even comics, but just any artist, anybody that's pursuing something that they're passionate about. Remember how we took those couple of breaths earlier in the episode? Take a couple of breaths, relax your shoulders, get comfortable. Those expectations that you have from the people around you, those expectations you have from what you feel like you should be getting right now, relax your shoulders and get comfortable and understand that it's a process and it's going to start to turn and things are going to take place when they are meant to take place. You can't rush it, so get comfortable. So what that means is try to find good ways to take care of yourself financially. Get these jobs, these hustles that you do more naturally so you're comfortable. If you're doing, all right, 2-3 years have passed, man, now I'm mad. Now all this tension is building up. Hey, get comfortable. Remember what Charlie said? Get comfortable and enjoy the process, because if it's your passion, you're going to do it for the rest of your fucking life anyway. You're going to do this anyway.
But you got to tell them where they got to follow you. The other Charlie Wilson.
Oh, 100%. Right? Yeah. So the second thing is I have a podcast that I just started.
Yes, thank you.
It's not available on major streaming outlets yet. I'm still working out those details. I just do it via live on my Instagram, which is Charlie Wilson TV. But this new show is called Good Grief, where we talk about some of the griefs and depressions and anxieties that a lot of us are dealing with. We're still trying to be great, but still pulling back some of those layers and unfolding some of those places that we've avoided, but we're still carrying every day. So that's what that podcast is geared toward. That's called Good Grief with Charlie Wilson. But definitely, follow me at Charlie Wilson TV on Instagram.
When's the podcast? Every Wednesday?
I do it every Wednesday. Stream it live, or either if I'm fortunate enough to have somebody that I can sit down with on Wednesday, like I did this past Wednesday. I sat down with Martin Morrow, a comedian out here in LA, funny cat. Yeah. And we met Beverly Hills and just sat down and were able to shoot it together. But anyway, every Wednesday I've been trying to be consistent with that, even with my schedule, because I want to make myself available for the comedians and or just people who want to share their story, who want to educate and have productive, positive conversations about some of the dark things that we don't necessarily discuss, but we're still carrying. So check that podcast out. Other than that, follow me, man. This has been dope as shit, man.
Hey, man, we need to refill.
No, you don't need shit. You need a nap. Erick needs a sandwich. That's what he needs. Erick needs a sandwich.
You true.
Let's go get both. Fuck it. Let's get both.
I don't think you want any problems, but you got one. Here we go. You can see the size is colossal. Look at the That's what you call an earthquake. Hey.
It's summertime, starting up a heat wave, and now all weekend, hardly slept in 3 days. Whoever's driving the car is the DJ. When it's Q, y'all better pump that bass. The dominance is obvious, I guillotine, heads roll everywhere I go, I rep Philippines. Found my way, turn amaze to amazing. Infinite flows discovered in an ancient spaceship. I see things before they happen, visionary. Bury me inside a studio at the cemetery. My modus operandi not monetary. Noah Lazarus, the holy one out the monastery. So let me see your cue, what's the why, that's the crew. I'm a giant, how I grew, still connected to my roots. Rhymes, I kick it like Bruce, got me feeling like Zeus. Standing tall like Manute, to reach this level need a boost.
I don't think you're born any problems, but you got one, here we go. You can see the size is colossal. Look at the way she make the thing go. Make it gyrate, make it shake like tectonic plates. That's what you call an earthquake. Hey, make it gyrate, make it shake like tectonic plates. That's what you call an earthquake. Hey.
Smoother than Brazilian wax, that's interact. My life a cinematic reflection in the mirror max. With the pros, I'm proliferating. She said my syntax sounds so scintillating. Flavormatics on the beat savory. Being scared, still doing it, that's bravery. Hunger turn us into savages. Ain't nobody give us nothing, had to do it alone, without a loan. Like Nora from Queens, Aquafina had the shell toe. Adidas used to hang with the drug dealers. Been doing this since cassette tapes in my Walkman, writing rhymes on the subway. Traditions I carry on, hip hop scholar, mastered in the street science. Raw diamonds have a finer with the stars in alignment. Got the youth to the truth. On the tree of knowledge, squeeze forbidden fruit and made it juice.
I don't think you're born any problems, but you got one, here we go. You can see the size is colossal. Look at the way she make the thing go. Make it gyrate, make it shake like tectonic plates. That's what you call an earthquake. Hey, make it gyrate, make it shake like tectonic plates. That's what you call an earthquake. Hey, I just wanna dance all night, wanna dance all night, wanna dance all night with you. I just wanna dance all night, wanna dance all night, wanna dance all night with you.